Blair and those around him was very heavily influenced. You'll remember he was a fanatic for the EU, very heavily influenced by developments in continental Europe. And the point is, of course, in Europe after 1945, after the triumphs of Nazism and then the defeat of Nazism, there's this profound awareness that a sense of nationhood and the passionate involvement of people in politics could do terrible damage. And so what you tend to do, you tend to see it as important to, as it were, put democracy into chains. You mustn't give it too much freedom. So you set up legal structures, you set up institutional structures, which are designed to stop it going too far. And the entire EU is a series of such structures, which is why the European Parliament is really, it's just a talking shop. It's like the Estates General in the old monarchy of France, and real power lies in the hands of the European Commission, who are unelected, appointed bureaucrats. Our great problem, of course, used to be, I remember when, I'm old enough to remember, our going in, our coming out, and our doing hokey-cokey around the EU. And we always used to call the Commission a civil service. It's not. The continental word is bureaucracy. That means rule by experts. Rule by the bureau, rule by the office. And that is what Blair's idea essentially was. You were going to substitute for parliamentary democracy, which might lead to reform. It might actually lead to people like Nigel Farage. Oh, shock, horror. You create effectively a series of mechanisms that hedge it in, on the one hand, legally, and remove power from it in different directions. And you do it in two different ways. Law will deal with in a moment. First, what you did was to set up the idea of government by the experts, those who really know. Because, of course, the problem with democracy is it's pigling people like you and me. How can you really trust them to do it, particularly when you're dealing with complex things like trade negotiations and whatever? How can common folk, or whether immigration is a good thing or a bad thing, how can common people possibly be allowed to express an opinion on such things? So you begin right from the moment of that government. You start taking hugely important decisions away from the government and away from Parliament. It's today, isn't it, that the Bank of England committee met, the Monetary Policy Committee. The first thing Gordon Brown, and he's much more than Blair, responsible for the detail of this. What Gordon Brown does is to it's called giving independence to the Bank of England, and you give the Monetary Policy Committee, which is a group of appointed and unremovable by any democratic process experts, the job of setting interest rates, which is, in a modern economy, one of the most absolutely important things you can do in terms of economic management. On the ground, supposedly, these experts, expert economists, expert trade specialists, expert bankers and whatever, will do a very much better job than mere politicians. Look at what's happened to the value of the pound since 1997. Yeah. Look at the catastrophic levels of government debt that we have. I mean, the government debt, is it
2.7 trillion?
It's I'm just trying to work how many. It must have multiplied, getting on for 10 times.
It's 100% of GDP.
I mean, it is. No, 10 is too much. It will have been multiplied at least 3 times for nothing. We're now wartime levels without having had a war.